The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip.
Zionism's goal has always been clear: to erase Palestinians from their land. Trump's plan is just the latest move in this centuries-long campaign. On February 4th, U.S. President Donald Trump announced the U.S. government's proposal to remove all Palestinians from Gaza, push them to the surrounding Arab countries, and take ownership of Gaza for itself. While this mindset that Palestinians will happily leave Palestine is upsetting and problematic, not to mention genocidal, it's nothing new. It not only precedes the Gaza genocide, but the very establishment of Israel itself. Formative Zionist leaders have long advocated for the forced transfer of indigenous Palestinians to the surrounding Arab countries, operating off the assumption and the colonial premise that Arabs exist as a monolith. In essence, for the Palestinians, there really shouldn't be any difference between Palestine and Egypt, or Palestine and Jordan, or Palestine and Syria. Obviously, this reductive understanding of Palestinian nationalism and culture only served their settler colonial aspirations in Palestine, and would later justify propositions of partition, forced transfer, i.e. ethnic cleansing, throughout the end of the Mandate period, through the Nakba, and until now. However, Zionism is not unique in this way. Like every settler colonial project, the Zionist project requires the elimination of the native, physically, socially, culturally, and the subsequent absorption of the natives' now empty land. In a diary entry written on June 12, 1895, the founder of political Zionism, Theodor Herzl, contended with the demographic problem that was the indigenous Palestinians, suggesting that the Zionist movement shall try to spirit the penniless population across the border by procuring employment for it in the transit countries, while denying it any employment in our own country. Does this sound familiar?
We can get a beautiful area to resettle people permanently in nice homes, and where they can be happy and not be shot, not be killed, not be knifed to death like what's happening in Gaza.
But Herzl wasn't the last to consider this idea. David Ben-Gurion also made clear his intentions, that following the proposed partition of Palestine, and after the formation of a large army, in the wake of the establishment of the Jewish state, we shall abolish partition and expand to the whole of Palestine. It's pretty clear that these schemes have not changed since this statement was made over 7 decades ago. Yosef Weitz, the director of the Jewish National Fund Land Settlement Committee, and the head of the Israeli government's official transfer committee, also concluded that it must be clear that there is no room in the country for both peoples. If the Arabs leave it, the country will become wide and spacious for us. The only solution is the land of Israel without Arabs. There is no way but to transfer the Arabs from here to the neighboring countries, to transfer all of them. Not one village must be left, not one tribe. These statements really shouldn't be shocking though, as indigenous erasure and land theft remain the bedrock of a successful Zionist project, and the success of any settler colonial project throughout history. It wasn't just Zionist leadership making these recommendations, however. The British government's Peel Commission, chaired by Lord William Peel, investigated disturbances in Palestine, specifically after the first phase of the Great Revolt, in which they recommended the transfer of the Palestinian population off their ancestral lands to make way for a Jewish state, and even the transfer of Palestinians to Transjordan. But how did the Palestinians react? They initiated one of the most legendary revolutions in Palestine's history. So while Trump's statements and the long lineage of Zionist colonial scheming from which they come are disturbing and must be condemned, Palestinians, and Gaza in particular, have resisted this erasure for over 100 years, and they will surely not be defeated in the next 4.